Listen. This is about to be a season that we are going to enjoy. Snowfall has started off with a bang. Like, I'm here for it. I'm excited. Y'all know I'm an LA native, so seeing my city in the show is always, you know, gets me full of glee and shit. I am your girl Talisa Rae. What's up? How you doing, Ray of Sunshines? We are reviewing the premiere episode of Snowfall season 3. I am all the way here for it. Listen, if it's your first time visiting or reviewing with me, the way I do it is I try to do it character by character, as in, like, so you got Franklin and his crew, you got Teddy and his crew, and then Gustavo and Lucia, which I was surprised to see towards the end of the episode. Alright, so let's just get into this whole thing. Let's start with somebody easy. And easy would be Gustavo, but I can't really start with him because they're so little and it actually feeds into Teddy. So let's start with Teddy, then we'll go Gustavo, then Franklin. Baby, Franklin gets finer and finer and finer to me. Y'all don't know, y'all know if you've been rocking with me that I love me an educated thug. Like, y'all pray for me because that's not what we want no more, right? So when we first see Teddy, we see Teddy with a new Colombian drug lord. Like, the brothers are no longer with us, and I can't remember. I hate that I didn't review or go over my reviews to remember what happened to them boys. I need to go check it out. But if you remember, let me know down below in the comments. Did they die? They didn't die. They didn't get killed. Did they? I can't remember. That's sad. I'm getting old. Nonetheless, he has Lorraine with him. Y'all remember Lorraine? The DEA agent who was all in, who had set up Gustavo and Lucia and Lucia's primo. Why is his name escaping me? I do not know. That's a sad situation. I bet you next time I'm gonna know all their names, okay? Y'all don't be mad at me right now. It's been a minute and I didn't even go check up and look at my old stuff or look at the old episodes, which is something I normally would have done. Anyway, his new connection, Colombian connection, wants to go into business with him with the nightclub. And I'm looking like, how is that gonna work? You are a federal agent. You won't be able to do that. You are part of CIA. Like, how is that going to work out for you? Well, when they get back to LA soil, the brother, again, I've forgotten his name too. That's two people, okay? Rick. I don't know what his brother's name is, child. Ends up having a heart attack. And when he was having a heart attack, I was like, oh my God, it was all those drugs that he had to ingest just to stay alive during that mess last season with the two Colombian brothers and how they had tried to set him up, set Teddy up. So I knew that it had to be an effect from that. We see Teddy take his brother home to Chicago, because I believe that's where they're from. I'm absolutely sure that they're from Chicago. And Teddy and his father have a very estranged relationship. You can see it that Rick, it might not be his name, but we're going to call him that for now. That's crazy. And his dad has a relationship. Because remember, before Teddy went to go get him, to get some help from him, to have him be a pilot, he was staying with his dad and taking care of his dad. And honestly, his dad is resentful because he left them to fend for themselves. And he said that as they were leaving, as he was leaving, he was like, we don't need your shush money, your guilt money. Because, you know, he's like, well, I'm going to send somebody to take care of you guys. I have enough money that I can have somebody take care of both you and Rick. I really feel like that's his name. Y'all, that's a damn shame. But with that being said, he no longer has a pilot. He no longer has someone that'll help out with routes. I mean, he really didn't know routes either, but he doesn't have someone to transport the drug into the United States for him. So he has a dilemma. He has a bit of a problem. You know, I kind of feel like we seen more of Teddy, but we did. And the most we saw of Teddy was intertwined with both Gustavo and Franklin. Also, I want to say how Lorraine, I still get that feeling from her. She is not to be trusted. I do not like Lorraine at all. Still don't like her. She's all like, we need to let them know what's happening. No, you don't. No, you don't, Lorraine. You are now on the side with Teddy, so you need to just go with what he's saying. However, I really want them to get caught, but I don't think they ever get caught. Anyway, I'm talking about real life situation, because you know this is based on, they're gonna say it's all fictional, but it is based on the theory that drugs was brought into the community by the government. But y'all know that already. So when we see Gustavo, there is no Lucia. Gustavo is a bouncer in fucking Arizona. We see him getting his ass whooped, okay? And the bartender, I think she has a thing for Gustavo, and Gustavo's not, you know, he's not budging, because of course he's still in love with Lucia. What happened to Lucia, y'all? Is she gone for good? Is she coming back? Do y'all know? I didn't do any research. I didn't do my due diligence. Y'all can be mad, but stick with me, because you're gonna like rocking with me. Just stay with me, because I'm gonna get it together. What happened? Did she get written out, or is she coming back later? Y'all let me know down below in the comments what happened with Lucia. We know after the shit that hit the fan, with them being raided, with Lorraine, you know, holding him hostage and all of that shit, we know that she left. You know, both of them actually left, but Lucia left Gustavo, and it's like, has turned into Pedro. That is the cousin's name. See, I got it. Y'all stay with me, I got it. Anyway, Teddy goes and visits the bar. So when they open the door, you know, because the bartender, she's all like, well, you can come home with me. And that's really a low-key pass. At least that's what I think, because he didn't want to go to the hospital after getting his ass whipped. So when Teddy walks in, you don't see who it is, and I'm thinking, okay, so it's going to be Lucia. I was not expecting Teddy to walk in, and not only was I not expecting him to walk in, I was not expecting him to walk in and be like, I need your help. Where's Lucia? I can't find her. I need your help. I need you to go to Lucia's mom's house, to their ranch, and get into business with them, find out the routes. I need to be able to get in and out of the country, okay? Gustavo is like, I'm not with it. He said, well, why are you here? Knowing that Lucia is left, why are you here? And when he said that, I thought to myself, well, is Lucia, you know, because Gustavo wouldn't really leave Lucia. So I'm thinking to myself, is Lucia around? You know what I'm saying? Is he taking care of Lucia and she's just low under the radar because he loved her that much? Like, is that what's happening? That speculation is probably not what's happening, but we will see in the upcoming episodes if in fact he goes to the ranch and introduces himself as Lucia's boyfriend and wants to go into business with them. So I'm looking out for that. You know, I liked Gustavo. I always have liked Gustavo just as much, or maybe not just as much, but he's right up there for me with Aunt Louie. I like people who have real loyalty to people, and both of those are two of my favorite characters in this entire show. So let's talk about Franklin. Let's talk about Franklin and his crew and everything that's happening with him. Also, let me say, I know when y'all saw me last season, I didn't have braces. I have them now, and I'm trying to get used to them. They are brand new. Y'all get used to them with me, okay? So when we see Franklin for the first time, he's with Cece, and they are looking at some apartments, a 12-unit apartment to buy. You know, it's a little rundown, but they are buying it. It already has some tenants in it, and he's like, this is the one. And so when I first saw them, I said, now y'all remember how last season she was so dead set against him being a drug dealer, being the biggest drug dealer. So I was just thinking like, okay, so you all in now, Cece? You know, because you was like, no, you wasn't talking to him and shit until he went to prison. So now she with it? Now she going into business. Y'all know mamas is loyal. Y'all know mamas is loyal. You either gonna go one way or the other. It's never in between. You either gonna not fuck with them and they gone, or you gonna support them and they shenanigans and they're gonna be the ones you can count on. That's just the way it is. Period, point blank. I don't care what y'all say. We can argue about it down below in the comments. Anyway, we also see Jerome now has him a sound shop, an electronic store, but he's doing a lot of sounds. And everybody goes to the grand opening, including the cutie patootie, what? Mel, the neighbor, who has been accepted to Spelman and is going to Spelman in the fall. And she's like, I need a job. And he's all like, no, you need to focus on them books. Here's a wad of cash. Like, I feel like they are setting her up to be like maybe his main girlfriend. Not only that, but to be the square that he deals with that has the knowledge. Like maybe she'll become a lawyer. Of course, all of this is in my mind. And what happened to the activist lady who helped him find the homeless daddy? What happened to her? Where is she at? Y'all, I hope she comes back, because I thought that they would have made a good, cute little couple. Nonetheless, Mr. Wright, her daddy, is constantly checking up on them. And he actually pulls up in front of Jerome's during the grand opening. And of course, he sees Mel across the street. Now, let me just say, I forgot to mention about the opening scene where the lady was... Officer Wright was driving down the street and the lady was getting the drugs out, trying to buy, you know, a $10 rock. And she only had $9. And when the police came, you know, he started the car and went. And then she was in the car. Like, that's a real addiction. Like, that's how that should really be happening. Like, she really ready to lose her life for that $9, $10 rock. We don't know how many dicks she sucked in order to get that $9, okay? Y'all. When Mel comes in the house from skating, you know, dad's at the table, he doing bills and shit, acting like he cool, but she know something ain't right. But she sits down and has a conversation and they go through this little banter, and then he busts out, so I heard Jerome has a new store. And at that point she was like, I knew it wasn't just no chit chat. I know you just, I mean, you know, you may not want to argue with me or whatever, but here we go. I don't want to deal with this shit. So he's kind of trying to let her know, like, I always got my eye on you and I really want you to make wise decisions. I want you to be careful. Because he knows that his daughter has a thing for Franklin. Franklin is her weakness. And baby, let me tell you, parents be knowing stuff. Parents be knowing. They know that the kid ain't, the dude ain't no good for you, and they know how much you are willing to do for your man or your woman. So we need to watch Mel. Now, there are some new players this episode or this season. When we saw Leon in the projects outside getting his hair cut, that's a real thing. I don't know about where you live, but the projects growing up, that was a real thing. A lot of shit, a lot of the stuff that you see was a real thing, okay? Anyway, he's getting a haircut. He got a bodyguard. Leon got a bodyguard. Is that his bodyguard, or is that just the henchman? And he just, since Leon's one of the top dudes, he needs a henchman. So you now have Fatback. Fatback is the henchman, the bodyguard. You know, he is like D-Ray. I can't think of D-Ray's character's name right now. And so when they're leaving, they're not very diligent. They don't look around a whole lot. There's a black car with 3 dudes in there staking them out. I'm all like, okay, so this is what I saw in like the premiere on YouTube, like the little snippets they was giving me. Okay, I'm ready to see it. Well, when it got later in the evening, after the events at the after the grand opening, they pan back to the 3 dudes staking out at the projects. So they getting ready to leave because dude in the back is like, I gotta pee, ain't nothing happening, let's go. And then all of a sudden here comes the ice cream truck. The ice cream truck pulls up in front of the projects and you see them starting to do their transactions. Again, nobody is like diligent about what's happening around them. as it relates to the ice cream truck. Like, they just conducting business, like whatever, out in the open, like who cares? And I'm uncomfortable with that personally as I'm watching, like, so this don't seem too smart to me. Well, the two dudes in the front who we learn are Levon and Dejan, the two brothers. We find out later that that's their name, Levon. We find out that they brothers, child. Levon and Dejan, I think it was. Hop out the car. Now, homeboy in the back, we don't know his name, but he telling them this is a bad idea. Manboy only said come and stake it out. Don't do nothing else. Well, they decide, you know what, we gonna do what we want. They get out with their 2 9s or whatever, and they go to the, get ready to go rob the ice cream truck. They're not diligent either, because out of nowhere, honey, you hear out of nowhere you hear shots fired. Okay, people are down, and it's not several shots. They are taking one shot and they are getting hit. First one and then the other. Then they see the car. The third boy in the back seat, who was the lookout, he got the fuck up out of there. They were shooting at the windows, but he was like, oh shit, like it was a really bad idea for them to go there. Okay, well, we see Leon and Fatback, or Leon is telling Franklin about what's going on and who the people are, and he says that's when we find out that their names are Levon and Dejan, child. And Manboy is Drew Miller, and they all went to Fauché together. Fauché is a junior high school, okay, y'all, out here, so y'all could have some sort of reference to how long ago it was that they had knew Drew Miller, okay? And at the same time, you have Manboy and his crew. You got the boy from the back seat, we need a name, telling them what happened, saying, I told them niggas not to do it, but they got out anyway, and they got shot and they got killed. And let me tell you something. We wanted to know what happened with that girlfriend. We knew she got away. We knew she was going to come back. I think I said it last season that she was going to give the formula and how to make the rock to somebody, and that is exactly what the fuck she did. Found somebody else with her strung out ass, willing to give out all information as long as you give me the rock, as long as you give me a hit. And she was like, I told they dumbasses that they wasn't to be played with. Drew's like, because she go to get a rock, to touch another rock, to get high and shit. And he's all like, I want to know everything about Leon, your boy Leon, and Saint, and their entire operation. I was like, ooh, this ain't good, this ain't good. This season, she dies. This season, she's gone, okay? Leon loved her. Wanda was her name. Look at how God does me. He lets things come back to my memory, okay? Wanda was that hoe's name. So, I feel like this is the season she dies. I feel like Louie needs to kill her. I mean, don't let a dude kill her. It's going to have to be Louie or Leon. Because, yeah, of course, Franklin wants to know, how did they know about my operation? Find out who's telling, who's talking. Ooh, and he gonna be upset when he finds out that it's Leon's ex-girl, child. And Leon probably still got an affinity for her dope head ass. So Franklin ends up meeting with Teddy because he needs a new shipment. And Teddy tells him, listen, the price is gonna go up to $15K. That is twice as much as what he was paying as more. I mean, before, it was $7K before. And he's all like, why? He was like, you've never heard of supply and demand? And remember last season, Franklin was doing a lot of research on Teddy. Had really found out who he was putting the dots together about the Nicaraguan war, all kinds of stuff. Because we know Franklin is not an idiot, okay? He may not have been street smart, but he's getting there now. He is becoming the boss, for sure. Anyway, so he makes a comment like, I thought that didn't apply to you. He was like, what, supply and demand? It applies to me. How does that not apply to me? He kind of makes a soft threat. Like, I know you think you know something, but whatever you think you know, let me remind you that I'm the only reason that you are on the street right now. That I am the only reason, and I can put your ass back in there. Like, I don't like no soft threats. I don't like it. Franklin got it. Was uneasy about it, just like I'm uneasy about it. And it was evident when he was with Cece and it was time to sign the the lease, not the lease agreement, but the mortgage papers for their new building, their new business venture as partners, okay? And Cece could tell, and she was just like, listen, the deal was, if I ask, you tell me. No questions asked. You can't, you know, you have to tell me what's happening. And I was like, okay, this is when we know that she riding with him. Because if I ask you something as your mother, I'm asking the hard questions. I'm asking the stuff that you really don't want to tell me. And with that being said, he told her. He said it didn't have nothing to do about the operation, but with Reed, because that's how they know him, directly, that something just ain't sitting right with him about Reed, that I might have overstepped my bounds. Yeah, and he's supposed to protect us, but something just don't feel right. Something just ain't right. Okay, Franklin, your house? Franklin has moved himself out of the hood, just like a big time drug dealer does. Moved himself away from his product, away from the business, separated himself and where he lives and where he thinks and lays his head in a different space. So I'm glad to see that. Like, we know they all do it. My operation is still over there, but I can't sleep over there. I'm the head nigga in charge. I'm the one they're gonna come for. And I don't want nobody to know where I live. I don't know who knows where he lives, but I'm wondering if maybe only Cece knows. And hell, maybe not even Cece. Because you know when they come after your family will start talking. When shit hit the fan, y'all act like y'all don't know the truth about that shit. Like, anyway, let's keep going. Well, D-Ray, y'all tell me what his character's name is so I don't call him D-Ray with his fine ass. Comes in and he's giving all the details, like, you know, Manboy is on Avalon, and the cookhouse is in Compton or on Rosecrans. I think that's what he said. Both of those are valid streets. Both of those are in Compton. Okay. And as he's giving the details, Fatback comes in the door and he's all like, "You got a visitor." The nigga say he Manboy. Everybody gets silent. I'm all like, ain't this a bitch? This nigga got some big ass cojones. So, you know, and then on top of that, I'm all like, Franklin, these people that you got working for him ain't working for you, ain't too smart. Because when you asked him, do he got a gun? And the nigga said no. How you finna come in the house knowing if he said his name was Manboy, that you should have been checking the surrounding area, patting him down, because he could, in fact, be coming in there carrying. He ain't even got to be coming in there because you done left him outside. He could be blowing the shit up, you know, lighting the house up and shit with heavy artillery and shit. Like, I'm gonna need y'all to think that through. Like, you need to tell them what to do. And really, if they like your henchmen, your bodyguards and shit, you shouldn't have to tell them that shit. Like, they should already know with common sense. I mean, I know with common sense. Before I even come in the house to say something, all right, nigga, let me pat you down. Let me see. Let me look around. You by yourself? Like, you gonna try and be as aware as you possibly can. So sometimes I be like, I mean, but it happens. People be fucked up like that. So we can't expect them to know everything all the time. It's still a new operation. They're only in year 3. That's a long time. That's a long time in the drug world. So Manboy comes in and I'm all like, look at this nigga. First off, he real cute. First off, he comes in. Louie is not in the room. He says, I'm coming to talk business. And then he gets to calling people by name. He knows Leon because they went to school together. He knows Saint because they went to school together. Oh, you must be Jerome. You the one who got people's sounds popping and the girls' panties dropping. And baby, Louie comes from behind. He was like, I'm sorry. I didn't know a lady was in here. I'm Drew, but they call me Manboy. How you get mixed up with these scumbags? You know, he being charismatic and shit. Louie lifts her 9 up and puts it down on the top of the bar. Like, nigga, I'm not to be played with. Louie is one of my favorite characters. She is my favorite female character for sure, for sure. Like, the bitch is down, okay? Like, yes, faithful, loyal. Okay, let's keep going. That's when he says, I come to talk business, right? I want to do business with you where I get my product from you. Since your shit is pure anyway, and I'm gonna give up the driver. I'll tell you where he is, and y'all can go handle him, you know, or whatever. But I just want to do business with you. right? I don't trust it. The nigga seemed real slimy. He too charismatic. Seemed too cool, calm, and collected. Came up in here like he ain't had no plan. He had a plan. He knew what the fuck he was doing. Because Wanda probably told him they all about business. That's Franklin. You talk business to Franklin. He's about business first. So Franklin says, so either, you know, in 24 hours, either you're going to have the product and your boy going to be dead, or all y'all going to be gone. You'll know soon enough. He was like, well, let me give you the address to where he was. Because first off, Manboy is trying to show, like, I got a one-up. I know where y'all at. I know, you know, how to get to you. You know, it was easy coming in. But Franklin had to be like, nah, that's cool. You don't need to give me the address. Because we know where he at. We know where he at. Like, nigga, we did our due diligence too. You ain't the only motherfuckers that know something. I was like, Franklin, you better do something, because that's too much. I mean, he all in your space and shit. You better go ahead and show him who's boss, what's what. I'm all like, something needs to happen. So I feel like he did the right thing by telling him, yeah, nigga, you ain't gotta tell me nothing. I know where y'all at. I know where he be. Let me know what you think about that down below in the comments. Do you feel like Franklin should have handled that differently? I don't know. Oh, because Drew was like, I want to make it on the up and up. Because I didn't tell them to do that. I just wanted them to go and see what the competition had going on. Right? They did that on their own accord. And so as such, I want to make it right by coming into business with you and giving up, you know, the dude that was in the back seat. Boom, there it is. So we see that Jerome's place of business gets vandalized, gets broken into, everything gets taken. And then we see Aunt Louie and Franklin talking, and we find out that it's Claudia. That Claudia had that done. Now listen, I thought Claudia was dead. The way they left us last season was that Claudia was dead. I don't remember Claudia being alive or them talking about Claudia again. But I'm glad that she's still a heavy player, right? Louie's like, I need to go see her. I need to talk to her. Before you make any moves, I need to talk to her. And he's all like, you know, we got bigger fish to fry anyway. So yeah, you handle that. And she's like, I'm not telling Jerome. I'm going to just let him keep with the fact that he thinks some kids vandalized it. Because if he knew, he'd be over there shooting up the club right now. When Louie goes to see Claudia at her house, right? She starts off by apologizing and saying that her feelings were hurt, but you need to back off, you know. Claudia's like, hurry up, I need to take a bath. Well, she ends up luring her in the bathroom, and while she's doing that, she's filling up her syringe with heroine. And the way Aunt Louie was looking, that was her drug of choice. That was her Achilles heel. That is the thing that she was strung out on. Y'all remember Louie was a junkie, right? That, I believe that heroin was her drug of choice, especially when Claudia was like, come on, help me out. And she pulled her little tie thing out and told her to get the syringe or whatever. You could see the pain and the angst in her face behind it. Like that was her drug of choice. Don't y'all think so? Let me know down below in the comments. And the way they had us left and hanging, I was like, Lord, please don't let her have tried none of them drugs or shot herself up and got high and gets addicted again. And when she goes home, you can tell that she hadn't by the way she fell in Jerome's lap when he was sleeping. For consolation, because she was tempted. Okay, at least that's how I interpreted it. If you felt it was different, then let me know down below in the comments. It's okay to shed light and help me understand something that I'm missing. So the reason Claudia is doing the drugs is because of the migraine. After she was knocked unconscious, she now has a migraine that can't go away, and so she took things in her own hands, and that's how she started doing heroin. I had to throw that in there because that's in my notes. It's important. So Officer Wright don't like Franklin. Really, since last season, he really despises Franklin and what he stands for. Franklin's coming out of his mama house, and Officer Wright is like, I need to holler at you. Take a ride with me. Is it official or not? First off, Franklin, you went and got in the car with him. Like, I would have been like, nigga, we ain't got nothing to talk about. What are we talking about? What is the point of this? What are we doing? And why do you want to talk to me? I ain't got nothing to say to you. I don't give a fuck. Like, we don't get along. You don't like me. You told me to stay away from you and your family. So why in the fuck should I be getting in the car? Like, that's my thing. Like, I don't think he should have gotten in the car. Like, what the fuck we got to talk about? I know that we are enemies. You know what I'm saying? I know you don't like me. You want me in jail. And it was further solidified when they rode in that car and he was talking about, you know, how they were on different sides of the fence. They were pretty much, Franklin feels like Officer Wright or Andre is a sellout, is a fraud, because he works for the man. He's getting his orders by the white man, by the government, to oppress his own people. And what I found eye-opening was that two things. Dre said, number one, I used to be like you. Except for, I was a jacker. It didn't feel good, though. I had to come out of that. And two, he shed light on him that actually, Franklin, we are on opposite sides, but you're an oppressor too. This drug thing you got going, it's worse than weed. It's worse than heroin. It's got our people strung out. You are doing more damage than you are doing good. And I was like, if you don't tell the truth, that was my interpretation. That's not how the conversation went. I mean, that's the gist of the conversation. And I was like, tell him the truth, because crack was the demise, the downfall of the black community in the 80s. Y'all better understand it. I believe it. Every year we talk about this stuff, I say the same shit. It is the downfall. It was the downfall of the black community. It is the thing that hurt us just as much as slavery, just as much as black men leaving the home, single mothers raising children by themselves. That is one of the most detrimental things that happened to the black family unit. I'm getting off that soapbox. Okay. Of course, Franklin's not expecting him to drive him back home, you know, because he was like, well, where are you taking me? You ain't gonna tell me. So when Franklin gets out, he gets out in front of a crack house, and he can see for himself what damage it is causing the community. One of the biggest things they showed was that the mother was smoking rock, and the baby was right over there in a pamper, and she carried the baby after she hit her rock to go home. Like, that was a very big statement. Like, that was a very huge and instrumental in the damage and debilitation that crack has done on the black family. Y'all can disagree with me or not. Listen, that ends the entire episode. I'm here for it. I'm excited about it. First episode had action. People got killed. Threats was being made. I'm here for it. Y'all, let me know down below what you thought about this episode. Where the fuck is Lucia? Do y'all know? If you got some ideas, is she coming back or is she gone for good? Do y'all know? Let me know down below in the comments. Gustavo, is he gonna end up being like a head honcho working with Teddy? Lorraine, I really feel like Lorraine is gonna turn on Teddy eventually, and I'm just waiting for that shit to hit the fan. Then that whole Claudia and Aunt Louie situation, and the whole heroine situation, and then Louie not telling Jerome about Claudia, and just like, it's a lot. And then, honey, the new players, Manboy and his crew, Wanda and her treacherous ass. I really want to see what's gonna happen. Anybody got any speculations? I am your girl, Talisa Rae. Thank you so much for watching my review of Snowfall Season 3, the premiere, Protect and Swerve. If it's your first time visiting my channel, go ahead, click the subscribe button, become a ray of sunshine. You're already there, so you might as well be clicking that notification bell so you can be alerted of the videos I upload, specifically the Snowfall reviews, because that's why you're here. Hugs and kisses and lots of love. I'll catch you on the next video.